Welcome to the last episode of Eyes and Teeth, Season 15. When I set out to make a podcast, it was to reconnect with friends and people who have inspired me and entertained me over my 45 years. It was to cover the silence in 2020, and when I say silence, I mean the empty closed theatres, the cruise ships that were shut down, holiday centres and pantomimes. No one was laughing, no one was listening, but people did start talking more. And although podcasts have been around for yonks, and I love that word, yonks, they were definitely reinvented into what is these days now £1 billion or dollar industry. Yes, it's more profitable to advertising companies if the subject or podcaster is a known name. I have loved getting to know not just those I love to watch on TV or on stage, or the colleagues I've worked with, but I've learnt things about close friends I've known for decades. You never stop learning. When I think about variety in the world and hosting a show that is based around variety, there is one family that comes to mind, and that is a family who have lived and breathed variety for over 60 years. Think of the most successful and famous show business family in the world, and you will instantly think of the Osmonds. In 2016, my career, I felt, was made by one phone call during a shopping trip in Eastbourne with my wife Nina. I answered the phone to Tony Denton, a tour promoter who wanted to ask if I would join the Osmonds on tour this coming Christmas 2016. Not only that, but Jimmy Osmond wanted to talk to me later this day about joining him and his brothers in Branson, Missouri for a stint at the Andy Williams Moon River Theatre. I couldn't be more happy to accept the job. That Christmas was an incredible experience working not only in America, but with the Osmonds and a full incredible cast of talented people, and I got to enjoy crazy golf every other day. 1 week into my contract, I had a phone call from home. It was Nina, who was in tears. I knew we missed each other, but only a week away, I wondered why she was so sad. Then I heard in her voice that something was not right. Nina had earlier that day had a car accident with our 4-year-old Lola in the back, and she was shaken up. After being hit on a roundabout by a new learner driver, Nina was in bits. And not literally, obviously, I mean crying. And my dilemma was to stay or pack right away and fly home. As hard as it was, Nina begged me to stay and reassured me she was okay and Lola was not hurt. I stayed and completed the 5 weeks in Branson and flew home for the Christmas UK tour, which was amazing. I was invited back in 2017 to do it all again, and this time I had to bring my 3 girls alongside Nina's mum Jill to join me for 2 weeks, and that made it much better. This time I was working with Las Vegas illusionist Rick Thomas, Charlie Green, and it was great working alongside Alan Osmond's son, Nathan Osmond.
He has fans that consist of Jimmy Kimmel, yes, and also Larry King and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, at 4 consecutive number ones in the country charts, ladies and gentlemen, in America. Please welcome Nathan Osmond.
Well, hello there. How are you?
Nathan?
I'm very sparkly tonight.
Yeah, very sparkly. That's just your teeth.
The Osmond teeth.
Looking good. So how are you? Enjoying the Christmas show?
Oh, we're having so much fun. This guy's a hoot, though. You got to see him in the show. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Steve, you do pretty good too yourself.
Get out of there.
Well, yeah, this guy, he steals the show. No, it's fun.
I don't need it.
This is the first time I had a chance to work with Steve, and you're just the man. Seriously, I'm so honored to be on your YouTube channel.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, thanks for coming on. And Nathan, you sing a couple of Christmas songs in this show.
That's right. I do All I Want for Christmas Is You. And I get to sing a medley with the Lennons.
No, I carry.
Yeah, my Uncle Merrill's in the show with me, and I get to sing with him. And I do this version of Hallelujah, which Jimmy typically sings, but I get to sing it this year.
You're doing beautifully as well. Hallelujah.
Silent Night, Moon River, all these songs.
There's a lot of Christmas songs in there, and then you've not got any of your songs in though.
Not this year, but I've been staying busy. Over 170 cities I've been to this year, 10 countries. So to be in one place like Branson, Missouri for a full month is a rare treat. So it's nice to be here.
Not to use all that diesel, right?
I tell you, just keep getting around here.
So there's a jacket. That's a wonderful jacket.
Thank you so much.
Very sparky. But
you never get lost in this jacket.
Is this your first time in Branson, or you?
Well, I used to live here as a teenager. I moved here when I was like 15 and a half. We were doing 2 shows every day on Sundays for like 5 years at the Osmond Family Theater. So that's a lot of shows. This is an easy gig this time. I'm having such a blast. But there's so much variety. We have the Lennon sisters, their granddaughters.
Yeah, Rick Thomas,
the illusionist. He's amazing. We have Pasha and Ilona, Steve Hewlett,
singers,
and
We're having a
You got to
great
see
time.
his act. He's amazing. But learn more about the show. Go to AndyWilliamsPAC.com. You can check out the other shows that are coming in 2018. Can't believe we're already almost there.
I know, it's an amazing theatre. And you're on tour next year?
That's right. I'm traveling all over. Just locked in another cruise. Today they call me Royal Caribbean. So
I'm doing some Royal Caribbean next year.
You are.
I hope you're on with us.
That would be
nice.
amazing.
And Nathan is coming to do the foundation, isn't it? The hearing fund
yeah.
with Justin. And Justin is in the audience tonight watching. And what's it like working with Uncle Merrill?
Merrill's amazing. You know, they call him the bear. He growls, you know. So he's the lead singer of the Osmond Brothers and just a class act. They call him Kenny Rogers. He looks more like Kenny than Kenny does.
Yeah.
Anyway, we love Kenny too.
And you look like Dolly. He's an honour to work with. He's such a lovely guy, and all of your family are just adorable.
Thank you. We love working with Steve, and I understand you're booked up next year with the UK, so you're stealing him from us. But we're so proud of his career and all he's doing. He's staying busy, and just what a treat to work with such a professional.
Thank you so much. NathanOsmond.com.
I also worked again with Merrill Osmond.
Merrill Osmond is here. Hello there. Not this one. This one.
Oh, no. Look, my twin. Where's... Ho, 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 ho. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho.
Merrill, how many years have you been doing the Andy Williams Christmas show?
Oh, my gosh. From the very beginning.
Since the start.
With the beginning.
On the TV show as well.
50-something years at least.
Wow, this is my second. Wow, that's incredible.
It's been a great pleasure to work with you.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Merrill. No, it's amazing. Last year, you and your brothers all made me feel very, very welcome when I came to Branson, and then we done the Hearing Fund UK in Leeds with your son Justin.
Yes.
It was good to see him and his family last night. And you have made me feel so welcome. I really appreciate that. But the Osmonds are all about variety. For many years.
Well, see, what I say on stage, a lot of people don't really know, but we weren't really invited on to the Andy Williams show unless we learned things. And so like Peggy Fleming, the great ice skater, for instance, she would be the guest on Andy's Christmas show. So the whole stage would be like ice. So unless we learned how to ice skate, we weren't on the show. So we learned to ice skate in one week, and then we did our flips and our turns.
And I've seen clips on YouTube when you play the saxophone, guitars, the banjo, everything, piano. It is an incredible talented family.
It's been an amazing journey, I'll tell you that, Steve.
It's brilliant to be working with you now, 60 years on, and you've been, working all these tours around the world as well.
We're going to keep doing it until we get it right.
I'm going to start trying to get it right really soon. They call you the Bear?
The Bear.
And
I don't know how that started, but all of my jackets in the back have Bear on.
Oh, wow.
I'm the Bear.
That's amazing. That's a lovely name to be called. And who's your favourite brother? I'm joking. What's your favourite song to sing?
I think when it comes right down to it, the one that gets the people really going is Crazy Horse. I was the voice of the high voice.
The voice, yeah. Wow.
And Jay sang the lead on it, but I sang the high one.
Amazing, the high one. So just one question for you, Merrill.
Yes, my friend.
Cheetos or chocolate?
Who we talking chocolate?
Cheetos.
Cheetos.
Or chocolate.
Oh, chocolate.
You like chocolate?
Even though I'm a diabetic, I still love chocolate. I can't have it.
Naughty. Can you quickly, before we go, can you tell us the cookie story? Because I love this story.
My gosh.
Oh, it's incredible.
Okay, so this is a story you really haven't heard, but when I was the executive producer on the Donnie and Marie show for years, my job was to hire and then fire. But I can hire people, but to fire them is just not in my DNA. So I developed a system where I just had cookies baked. I had my wife bake cookies, and I put them on my desk. And when someone needed to be fired, I just brought them in, and when I offered them a cookie, that meant they were gone. So it was a sweet thing to do.
Wow.
It's
amazing. That's the golden heart of Mr. Merrill Osmond. He was too nice to fire people. But I've just seen through the door, someone's just bought me a cookie, so I'm going to have to go. And I'm on stage now. It's been an honour to work with you 2 years running. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, Merrill.
Thank you, my friend.
Wonderful time of the year. Good boy.
Eyes and Teeth. During my time out there, Jimmy, Jay and Merrill Osmond and their families all made me so welcome and called me their brother during my stay. I was truly in my element, surrounded by loving, fun, talented people who loved what I did equally, and I didn't want it to end. Sadly, it did end, and shortly after that, Jimmy Osmond suffered a stroke during pantomime in Birmingham. I haven't seen him since then. One proud moment for me was being a member of the Grand Order of Water Rats. The only person I proposed at that time had been Jimmy Osmond, joining the show business charity, and he joined me for 2 lodges before he was taken ill. I'll never forget all he did for me, hosting me in America for 2 Christmases. I particularly loved joining Jimmy and Jay and their families in church one morning to see a part of the world others don't get to see, and I saw more kindness and love that day too. I kept the order of the day from that visit, especially as Jay wrote on it, thanking me for coming with them that day. Christmas parties, Thanksgiving get-togethers and road trips, as well as visiting all the other Christmas shows on the Strip in Branson, just added to the memories of my time with these amazing people. I've since kept in touch with Jay Osmond and his wife Karen and could not end Eyes and Teeth without closing in style. And today, I welcome to Eyes and Teeth, the world's greatest variety show, the world's greatest variety family, the Osmonds, when I talk to Jay Osmond. Musician, entertainer, singer and drummer in the Osmonds, Jay has now produced the most incredible stage musical of his life, with his family story of their ups and downs being at the centre of the hit show. Sold out shows, standing ovations and rave reviews sees the Osmonds, a new musical, continue to tour throughout the world. Whilst now retired from performing, Jay has other projects he's always working on. Jay Osmond, welcome to Eyes and Teeth.
Excellent. How are you doing, Steve? Thank you.
Really good. Thank you. So good to see you. The Osmonds are a huge part of entertainment history, undoubtedly the most celebrated show business family in the world. And this is what's brought you to this wonderful musical that you've produced.
Well, you know, I've wanted to do it for many, many years, but I was writing a book, about 5 years ago, and this producer, and now was one of my best friends. His name is Bosa Anderson. He came up to me and he said, "How would you like to?" He's from we were in Sweden. My wife and I, Karen and I, were in Sweden, and he comes up to me. He says, "You know, I've wanted to always do a show, a stage presence, a stage production on your life." And I said, "You know what? I'm writing a book." And he says, "Well, why don't you do it in a living memoir?" And I says, "What is a living memoir?" And he says, "A stage production, of course." And I thought that's when it started. And so it took me 5 years, and then with some great writers and producers to put this together, and a great wife who helped me there along the way, typing everything I said. And we went back into my journals, we just thought about everything that affected me throughout my life. We went through hundreds of videos, and we put all these little pieces of my life together and put it into this wonderful musical that played the whole last year, and it was just so wonderful. And what was exciting is that how it was portrayed. I mean, the cast and crew were just amazing. I mean, they were so respectful in how they portrayed each of the members of my family, and also others who affected our lives, different people like Andy Williams, and how it affected my life. And again, it was through my eyes that this production was developed, and the producers wanted it to be how I saw things. I was in the middle. I saw everything. And I wanted to show people the ups and downs of our life, and not everything was roses. We had a lot of challenges, and I had a lot of personal things, how it affected me in my personal life, but the great reward was to see it being portrayed on stage, and the response from the people who lived our life with us. I mean, it was really based on the fans had such a big part of how this thing came across. In fact, there's one in particular person whose name was Wendy, who represented all of the fans, really. And she did such a wonderful job that she now has a following of her own.
Oh, wow.
as do every one of the cast members now have a following of their own. I mean, it was so well portrayed. Everybody who was in the act, in the show, took it personally. In other words, they represented, they wanted to do the best job possible, the respectful way. And I was so proud of every one of them. I mean, like for instance, who played father, Charlie who played father.
Oh, yes.
That was the hardest one, because my father had such a wonderful personality. He was very strong, and yet he was very tender. And he had to find that balance. And Charlie found it. And he had to really, we fine-tuned it. But boy, I tell you, he represented my father so well. And my mother was so, Nicola represented my mother so well. And Marie, Georgia was unbelievable. How
Georgia was incredible. Yeah,
Wasn't
she was sensational. She looked just like Marie. How your casting, Jay, for this was incredible. Your vision and your passion. And I know you put this show, you put your heart into it, and it's such an incredible musical from start to finish. But you cast it so well; it was stunningly cast.
Thank you, Steve.
And Alex Lodge, who plays you, he works so hard, which I know you worked hard throughout your years.
Oh, Alex knocked it out of the park.
I've been involved with the project for a good couple of years now, so I've met Jay too many times, and sat there on Zoom and chat away for hours. But it's an amazing resource of information to be able to just ask someone what that actually happened in that scene, instead of sitting there as an actor thinking, what does my character feel? What would my character do? Just go and ask him, because he's sat right in front of you. And knowing that they're sat there in the room, you're going, I'm playing you right now in front of you with stories that you have scripted with Sean and Julie and the book writers. Like, it's crazy. And the first time we met, like, I'd be completely lying if I wasn't absolutely terrified. But he's such a wonderful, kind, open, generous man.
We've tried to include in the show as many of the Osmond songs as we can. So we've got One Bad Apple, we've got Yo-Yo, we've got We're Having a Party, Love Me for a Reason, Double Lovin', Let Me In. Then you've got the songs they did when they were younger, Side by Side, Long Haired Lover. You've got Puppy Love, which is a classic, everyone knows that one. And more, we did I say One Way Ticket? We've got, we tried to include as many of their songs as we can.
It's definitely a different experience for me, because I'm an only child, and now I've adopted so many brothers in this, and we're already so close, and it's just amazing to have this sort of relationship with everyone, and it's lovely. Marie, she definitely does have that girl power element, and she definitely her character, and Marie as a person in real life just totally manages to hold her own. And I think amongst so many male, sort of a huge male family, she does such a good job of being able to do her own thing, and she's really quite an amazing woman.
Well, I think they're going to have a party at the end of the day. I think that's how you can sum it up. We're going to have a party, and again, as Ryan said, we're going to see the story of the Osmonds behind the curtain. Everyone knows the Osmonds on the Andy Williams show, through the Donnie and Marie, all of that. We all know that. We don't know the story of what happened behind. And I think that is the show that the fans and the audiences are going to see, and they're going to love it.
And every one of them, everyone who represented my brothers, it just killed it. I mean, it was perfect. And I was so proud of every one of them. Georgia, who played Marie, was, at one time I walked into an elevator, and there's the first time I saw her. I mean, after all the interviews, of course, in person, I had never seen her dressed up like Marie, though, until with the wig, until I walked into an elevator, and I swear, Steve, I thought I was seeing my sister. It was like the weirdest thing. Wow. It was incredible. Out. And she also just sang like her. I mean, she did everything like her. But what is so cool, Steve, about my family, and you got to know my brothers, back in Maryland, and Jimmy, and you got to know them back in Branson, and where we got to know you so well, and you didn't they come across so well? I mean, everybody, the cast felt like a real family. They just felt like the whole they represented it so well. I just was so proud of them.
They were so committed, weren't they? And I know you put your heart into it, but it really looked like the cast put their heart into your show. They didn't let you down. I mean, I saw it in Brighton last year. It was truly a blessing to watch.
Thank you. And I'm just so excited about this. There's been nominated for 2 awards, and I'm so thrilled. At first, when I was proposed, when Bosa Anderson proposed that I write this, I was really insecure about how to do it because I had never put on a stage production, never have written anything by myself. I've always been a part of something other, like with my brothers. I've always been a part of what they've done and we've done together. But when I asked Merrill if he would help me, he wasn't able to help me. And so now I was on my own, right? So I had to put this and work and collaborate with some great writers, great producers, but we got it done. Man, it was amazing.
That's amazing. You put some really key moments into the musical as well. I mean, you had the moment where you meet Walt Disney himself, and there's a great photo that I saw when we were touring that you showed of yourself meeting the wonderful Walt Disney, and he had a big key introducing to Andy Williams. Is that right?
That's correct. Actually, Walt Disney, he's really the first one that got us started back in 1961. And when he put us on his television shows, it was called Disney After Dark. And in fact, we represented a little bit, we did a little piece of it in the play about how that came about, but we didn't tell the whole story. We basically said, like, how we went there. We went to first we went to go see Lawrence Welk, but he wasn't able to see us. We drove all the way to California from Utah, and he was just not able to see us. And so my father said, well, we're not going to turn this into a negative. We're going to go and make this a fun event, a fun trip. So we went to Disneyland and just to have a little fun. We stayed in our entertainer clothes for some reason. I don't know why. For some reason. And we get there and there's the Dapper Dans. Do you know who the Dapper Dans are at Disneyland? That singing group that goes around in barbershop.
Yes.
Barbershop quartet. Well, they saw us and they said, "Are you a barbershop group?" And we said, "Yeah, we are." They says, "Well, sing us a song." So we sang them a song, and then they sang us one. We sang them one back. This crowd gathers. And so they said, you've got to meet our boss, Tommy Walker. So we go see Tommy Walker, and he says, okay, you've got to perform for Walt Disney himself, because he's got to see you. So a month went by and we thought it would never happen, but sure enough, we got a call. We came all the way back to California. And when I saw Walt Disney, I got really nervous, and we did this song called "I Want a Girl," where I want a good old fashioned girl, and we do with our hats and our mustaches all in a sync, and I got them all backwards and mixed up, and I got my mustache stuck in my hat. Walt Disney is laughing so hard he halfway falls off his chair.
Really?
My father, and he tells us to stop, and my father puts his hands on his face and like, "Oh gosh, Jay, you've really done it now. You come all this way and you've ruined it with Walt Disney." And it just the opposite happened. Walt Disney said, "I want you to go back and remember all the mistakes you just made in this song, so that you can remember. I want to teach it to the Dapper Dans." And so to this day, the Dapper Dans do "I Want a Girl" goofing up with their hats and their
Really?
Yeah, it's so funny.
Eyes and teeth.
And so anyway, Walt Disney loved us, and he put us on his show for a year, and then that's where Andy Williams' father saw us on those TV shows, and then we auditioned with Andy, and of course, and Andy, they negotiated something with Walt Disney and took us over to we were with Andy for 9 years. That's when the real work began, because and I think hopefully that was demonstrated well, and it sure was. It came across how hard it was. Every week we had to do something different,
It was learning different instruments, like playing trumpet, saxophone, and banjo.
Yep, piano, banjo, tumbling,
skating,
ice skating,
really,
unicycles. I mean, everything it was just every week, and that's why we didn't know how to say no. And it was, if there's a challenge to this day, if there's a challenge, we'll do it. And that's what happened to me. It was like being on the Andy Williams show when this musical came up to me, and I said, I was a little insecure, but then I fell back on those things. Okay, I did all this in 1 week with Andy Williams. I know I can do this. I know I can. And then with a great wife who supported me. And we worked 5 years. We moved to England, and where we had to be with the producers and directors and writers.
You went to Chester, is that right? Chester?
Chester. Oh, I loved it.
It's a beautiful city, isn't it? So beautiful.
Yeah, I loved it, Steve. And by the way, I have to say, one of my happy memories was in Branson working with you. You are the funniest in your routine and your talent and and it's such a nice person as you are too. I just was really honored to work with you, someone who's nice and talented. You know, that's a good combination.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. I mean, to watch you from the wings and to hear those beautiful songs you depicted, and obviously being in an Andy Williams Christmas show on the stage in the theater was incredible. But I got to see you do your drum solo on tour. It was incredible, the energy that you gave, Jay. You never stopped that energy. It was
Thank
at
you.
least 10 minutes long, the drum solo. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was about 10 minutes. And boy, that was a grueling drum solo. I remember now. Every night, almost. But anyway, those are happy memories as well.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was so nice to be traveling with you as well. I remember when we finished the season, we done about 5 weeks in Branson, and then we done about 5 dates across the US, and we flew to England. And,
That's right.
I remember we went on that night that we got there. There was no break in between.
No break.
It's
Exactly.
completely grueling. Is that like the old days from the 70s?
Exactly.
Is that what it was like?
It was just like that. Yeah, we didn't know how to take breaks. Actually,
No.
It was just what life was all about, and that kind of energy is really what comes across in the musical. I mean, didn't you feel like when you left the musical, Steve, that you got to that? This is what came back to me from a lot of people that saw it. They went in to see certain expectations and how they thought they knew our family. They come out really supportive, and really there's a deepening of endearing almost to our family. Did you feel that?
I definitely felt that. And I brought my mum to the musical. So my mum was sat next to me. She saw you the first time round. I got to know you by working with you guys, but I got to fall in love with your family's history, your family's love for the business. I got to see the ups and downs, and I was brought in emotionally to the story, and I didn't know all those things happened. And you're being honest, and you're not hiding anything. And
Right.
But yeah, I totally had the emotions, and it's such a wonderful feeling. And you really do take people on a wonderful journey with the musical. It's such an uplifting thing. We can end up in tears, but you also end up dancing at the end of the show, you know.
Oh, that jump when they do it, that jump at the end, you know.
It's a party that you bring.
Oh, I knew the world would love my family more when they just knew the heartaches and the challenges and I know they would be endeared more, because I wanted to show them that everything was not just all up and roses, and I wanted them to see all the hard things that we went through that bound us together. In fact, I was asked, Steve, the other one of these interviews a while ago, what was my high point in my story, the way I told it in my life. And I said, is when our family was at our lowest point, you know, and it goes back to my goal. I wanted to tell it in such a tender way, but I saw a family, a bunch of brothers is really what it was, having each other's backs. And I saw a situation which would have torn apart 99% of the families out there. You know, I mean, to lose that much money and to go through the hardships we did, and yet stay together and work together and build it back and just hang in there with each other and to respect each other. And I wanted them to see it through my eyes, how I saw a great family move forward with such a blow, you know,
it's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking.
You certainly tell that story, but I mean, it uplifts again at the end. I mean,
yes,
it's such an uplifting ending, which is wonderful, you know, and you've had so many reunions, you know, with the family, and it's always great to see you guys, you know, sort of reliving the story. And but this musical just does that. It introduces it also to another generation as well, Jay. And I definitely see it going to West End or Broadway. Is there anything out there where it's going to keep on going?
There's a lot of talk, right? There's a lot of talk, a lot of opportunities. We're just looking at all the different options at this point, and boy, there's so much on the table now. I'm going to keep you posted, though. We're so close.
Wonderful.
Where I could let you know, Steve. And but you know, it was when I first saw it being put on stage, for some reason, and you know, I saw. Before he came out, put it this way, people said, oh, you know, they don't look like the Osmonds. They don't act like, they don't dance like you. They put them on stage, and all of a sudden they became us. Even in my own mind, I was pretending that was us. And then one of the greatest pictures I have, Steve, in my room is I have a picture with me and all the musical brothers, the actor.
Wow.
And it was like going back in time with my brothers on stage. And I went up on stage with them in Manchester and did Crazy Horses, with them. And then I have a picture with them. And it's like going back in time when we had such a wonderful camaraderie with each other. And that's the way the brothers were, the actors were, where they had such a camaraderie. It was wonderful.
It must have taken you back. Do you remember that first opening night? I mean, for you to put this 5 years of writing onto the stage, what was your feelings on that first opening night?
I was real nervous, to tell you the truth.
Really?
How was this going to be?
No time to be excited.
I had to see it with my own eyes. When the crowd reacted the way they did, and then I transformed myself back on stage. It just did numbers for me. It was wonderful. Oh, I couldn't believe it. It was surreal, I guess the word is I'm looking for.
Yes. You said that the fans have a big part in this as well. And that's one thing I saw when I was working with you. Your connection with your fans, you showed it then, you show it now. And with your wife, Karen, the time that you give your fans on Facebook and just answering questions, and you've always give your time to your fans, and you deserve a break, Jay. I don't know how you do it, but you've been such a kind-hearted, worldwide superstar, and I thank you for the time that you've given people over the years, and you still do it today. But
thank you, Steve. I just love the fans, and I think, I do. My wife loves the fans too, and together we put on these. We go and do these live events for the fans, just to get to know them, get to hear their stories. In fact, there was one, Julie and Allison, two of our wonderful friends. They did a picture of me and they put it on a cardboard. It was like they called it Flat J, and they took Flat J everywhere to all the shows, and they dressed me up on this cardboard guy, and with suits on and hats on, and they took me everywhere, to restaurants, to everything. And it was just a fun experience. And oh man, to see it go from page to stage, it was amazing. That whole, it was just an amazing.
I like that, page to stage. And your autobiography is called Stages. We can buy that on Amazon now.
Well, that was the book that I've written before, but it didn't go into a lot of depth. That was a book that I just threw a bunch of stories in, and it was like I wanted people to get to know me a little bit. But I was in the process of writing. That one was out of print now. The Stages. I'm writing a new one, and which really goes into depth. And now that with written the musical, and it's going into a lot of different ways. I want to put deep in my the stories so people can really understand my mind and how I saw my family.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thank you so much for bringing the new musical of the Osmonds to us. And we just need to watch this space so people will find out what's going to happen next. And if the musical comes back to the UK, looking forward to seeing it again. But Jay and Karen, thank you so much from my heart. It's lovely to see you again. I really appreciate you being.
And hold on, Steve. Here's Karen. 1 second.
Hi, Karen. Thanks so much.
I'm just working away over here. Jay's at my work, so I'm over here working away, listening in.
Oh, bless you. I really appreciate your time. I know it's precious. And
you're keep in touch with us. We'd love to keep in touch with you, and we hope that we'll be touring again over there in 2024.
Oh, amazing. Brilliant.
They wanted to take it again, and then the awards are Sunday, it's called What's on Stage.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Is that in London? That's London, right?
I think it's London.
So there's 2 awards and stuff for Best New Musical, Best Touring Production or something, which are the big ones. So if we win one of those, I think it could open up a door to limited West End production. We'll see. We're hoping.
Wow. The West End. That's what we're hoping for. That sounds incredible. Congratulations.
Yeah. Even just like a 3-week or a 6-week West End would just help it go forward stronger. Any of these projects, when the producers, start you going, they kind of explain to you just realize we are not into this for a 1 year, one and done production. You know, we are looking at a 10-year, you know, we want it to have longevity, and we want it to.
Yeah, it's got every right to be up there with ABBA, the musical. And, you know, I mean, one of the biggest groups we've ever had. And so it's just such a beautiful pice of work. I'm so pleased that I got to see it this year, but I can't wait to take my family next time. And it really is a high energy show. It's full of emotions, very poignant, very poignant. But we know you've put your heart into it. Both of you have. And thank you so much for bringing that.
Heart on the stage. And I think that for me, I loved how everyone just felt so much joy as they walked out. I mean, it was like, that was his goal when he, at the very beginning, he said, I want people to walk out of there feeling so much joy, you know, and I have to tell him, well done. And you achieved that, because everyone everyone was walking on the air when they left, you know, and it was fun.
It was to see the joy in their eye, and to have them reminisce. There was one lady, I loved it. She says, you know, you didn't write just your story, you wrote my story with you. And I thought, wow, that really sunk deep.
Right.
It was her story along with, because the fans are so much intertwined in this story, especially when Wendy really goes.
Well, and she kind of puts them up on the stage, you know, with the cast, like they felt like they were up there on that stage telling their story. And there were several fans who were saying, for 3 hours, I had no arthritis. I had no pain. You
take your mind away from that. Yeah.
No,
it takes your mind away.
14 again. And I was having the best time of my life. We saw cute little ladies, you know, there weren't a lot of them coming in mobility scooters, but we saw ladies get out of their mobility scooters and get in the aisle and dance around.
Oh, wow. You're a miracle healer as well. That's incredible.
No, but
you
know what else was fun is that we saw young people coming in and just loving and just to see their reaction. And
because we really do read all the fans' comments.
Yes, we do.
It's like and there were people joining Osmond Connection, which is Jay's Facebook page that he interacts with, wanting everyone to interact with each other. But we were getting all this 20-something-year-old people joining Osmond Connection, and they were in there talking about they're just now discovering the Osmonds music. And
I was sat there with teenagers in front of me. I took my mum on a date night, so my mum was crying at the end of the show. She was on her feet. But it's so nice to connect to those generations as well, you know, and reintroduce you guys to another generation, which is beautiful. But to see teenagers and kids there as well.
Oh, isn't that cool?
Right. And now everyone's collecting vinyl again.
Yes.
And we kind of benchmarked like where vinyl was before the musical started. And then all of a sudden now, like almost a year later, vinyl of the Osmonds, like their albums that have gone up so much in price because it brought back the mania. You know, the musical brought it back, and everyone wants their vinyls again. And anyway,
it's been fun to watch this.
We wish we could do the year all over again.
No, I know. The great feelings, but now you can relax and wait for these awards to come, and we wish you all the very best for the awards.
Thanks,
and whatever is going to come from this musical. Thank you for putting your time in to do that, because it takes a lot, and it's a huge risk to put a musical on the road, but
sure does.
Wow.
Please give your love to Nina. And the girls.
I will. Nina and the girls are over there. They're about to watch a TV show with me. I'll just take the sound off and see. Jay says
hi, everybody.
Hi.
They're feeding the guinea pigs.
Fun.
Well, fun.
They're feeding them to the dog.
You have a great little family.
Right.
Well, thank you for your time today and in your break. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Steve.
And bless you, Jay. Lots of love to you both. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye, buddy.
Thanks so much to Nathan and Meryl Osmond for our YouTube chats back in 2017, and to the cast of the new Osmonds musical and What's on Stage for a few clips available to watch in full on YouTube. Thank you, Jay and Karen Osmond, for fitting me in their extremely busy schedule to talk on today's finale podcast, which I hope you enjoyed. You can find Jay Osmond on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and far more information on tours and updates on the new Osmond musical. Check out www.josmond.com. Today's quote comes from Walt Disney. "We keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths." Thank you for listening to my podcast Eyes and Teeth. 15 seasons and over 200 episodes of these chats wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can subscribe, download and enjoy offline and listen to over 200 hours of interviews from this variety and comedy-based inspired through the COVID years. Never say never, of course, so I cannot say this will be the last episode. In fact, I've already started working on a special season, but that will have to wait until I've published my book Ventriloquist later in 2023. So before Christmas, keep an eye out. That's the projects I have on this year, so to find out more about these and more, including tours, one-off shows and my pantomime season 2023, subscribe to my website at www.thestevehewlettshow.com. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, Eyes and Teeth. By the way, that means smile. Eyes and Teeth is written, produced and hosted by Steve Hewlett. Vocals by
Lola, Larissa and Nina Hewlett.
The Eyes and Teeth music and jingles are all produced and performed by the one and only water rat Mr. Kevin Dean. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to download, subscribe and all that jazz. If you want to, just listen to a bit of jazz. This is me, Steve Hewlett, saying Eyes and Teeth.